there's no athlete in any other sport where that position has such an influence on the outcome of a game. That gives you a premium over everyone else, like Patrick Mahomes at quarterback. So what do I mean by that? You could look at a guy like Mike Trout in baseball. He's like the best, one of the best ever, maybe the best ever. But one player in baseball does not affect the fortunes of the team like a quarterback does. Then you go to the NBA and say, well, NBA, you know, LeBron James or now Kawhi Leonard or the Greek Freak, they affect the fortunes of their team. But think of how many guys I just rattled off, and I could tell you some more, who are all around the same level. Once upon a time, LeBron towered over the league. That is not the case. I would argue he's not the best player in basketball anymore. But even if you argue he is, it's very, very close. You know, there are a couple guys all hovering around the same thing. No one guy gives you such a premium over everyone else. So when I look at Patrick Mahomes, I know there's a salary cap in football. I know all that. But when these other guys come up like Dak Prescott, I want to be the highest paid. You're like, Dak, but you ain't the best. And you don't give, there are other guys who could do what you do. No one else in football, maybe whoever lived except for Aaron Rodgers in his prime, and even then, gives you a premium at what they do that has an influence over the outcome of a game like Patrick Mahomes. In fact, he should be the highest paid player in team sports.
You're absolutely, completely wrong. Let's understand something here. Patrick Mahomes is a superstar football player. You want to tell me he should be the highest paid player in football? I get it. But in all the sports, let's understand something here. Those fans at Arrowhead Stadium are coming to the stadium with or without Patrick Mahomes being your quarterback. He don't have, it don't matter. They love seeing him when they get there, but they were coming long before Patrick Mahomes ever arrived, and they're going to be coming long after he's gone. This is the National Football League. The Shield, the brand itself, has them being the #1 sports. It's the #1 sport in America. People are walking. We got scrub teams, horrific teams. I mean, bad than a bag of bricks, all right? And people walk through the turnstiles to watch them play because of the brand that is the NFL. The same can't be said with basketball. The same damn sure can't be said with baseball. LeBron James should be the highest paid player in all of sports. Why? It ain't just because he averages a minimum of 25 games. Forget his stats. No matter what city he goes to, when you don't show up, only 13 to 15,000 show up when another team shows up. This brother sells out arenas, city to city, state to state. And when this is not about who's the better talent or anything like that, even though LeBron has the resume. This is about who's box office. There's a difference between a star and a superstar. A star is somebody that can ball. A superstar is somebody that gets you to come watch them, inconvenience yourself, your schedule, just because you want to see them. And Patrick Mahomes, even though he is special, there is nobody in the NFL that influence walks through turnstiles. LeBron James, you walk through the turnstiles for him. He should be the highest paid person in all of sports.
See, Max, this is why you and I fight. This is why you and I fight, because like sometimes you creature of the moment, and then sometimes you harken back to history to make the point. The problem with this Patrick Mahomes thing that you got going now, like, he the hot guy. We here at the Super Bowl. I get it. You know damn well LeBron's supposed to be the highest paid player in sports, man. Like, that is such a no-brainer. When you start thinking about the individual, a couple weeks ago, didn't we have the most valuable player in sports conversation? This was a part of what we were talking about in that regard. LeBron James has carried the NBA for the last 10 years, literally, has carried a league. I'm not talking about his team, has carried a league. Guess what we don't do anymore? We don't watch the Cleveland Cavaliers play basketball anymore. We have not talked about, I don't want to say we, I have not seen y'all talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers since LeBron James.
Oh, you remember when Get Up, because we love Get Up, of course, Greeny and the crew. But you remember when Get Up had one of the lead stories that Beeline was the new coach of the Cavs? And I said, what the hell is that a news story for? Who cares? Because LeBron is not there?
Tell me when you're done, I'll set you both straight.
This is so far and out front a no-brainer about LeBron James. You can't even come.
You're right. If you want to go back several years, if you're talking about a 10-year period, LeBron, retire the prize. It's obvious, right? I'm talking about right now. First of all, let's look at TV money, okay? And you could always argue any single NBA star has more influence over the kind of popularity of the sport than any single NFL star. I'm taking that into account. I'm not talking about 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 8 years ago. I'm talking about right now. And by the way, the NFL's TV contracts are billions and billions and billions of dollars more than the NBA. Even if each individual player has a lesser influence on those TV contracts, the money is there. It's just there. And even with a cap that unfairly suppresses player salary in the NFL worse than in the NBA, even with that cap, you still see dudes making $35 million a year. And what I'm telling you is if the high watermark is 33, 34 million, Patrick Mahomes worth at least 40.
Max, what evidence do you have that Patrick Mahomes is more box office than LeBron James?
Oh,
none.
It's not an issue of who generates more revenue at the moment. It's an issue of how the league is structured in terms of the salaries, how guys get paid, what kind of a competitive premium does a guy give you. Let me remind you that Patrick Mahomes hasn't won a Super Bowl yet. But he's been in the league for 2 seasons.
So?
His first was maybe the greatest season ever.
So?
He got to the AFC Championship game. His second, even getting hurt, his team is in the Super Bowl. If he wins the Super Bowl this year, then revisit that conversation.
So he's a great quarterback in the National Football League, and you're saying because of that warrants him being the highest paid athlete in the world?
No, it's that
That's the question.
It's that he is clearly the best player.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.